I think that with anything that we do in life, we have this creator's paradox where basically the more that you love doing something, the more you think about it, the more you want to do it, and the harder it is to actually stop doing it. So, I want to talk about all of it, get us to separate our creator, our ambitious, our quote unquote hustle side of us, and just be more human. So, with all that being said, let's get into it. Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Cozy and Thriving. I'm your host, Michaela, and this is a podcast where we just learn to build a life that we actually want to be present for. I'm so excited about today's episode because I think a lot of us can really be like we hold on to our identity in what someone does. Like when we introduce ourselves to anybody, it's always like, hi, my name is Michaela. I'm a podcaster. Hi, my name is Michaela. I run a social media newspaper thing. We're in the works of that. Okay. Hi, I'm Michaela. This is what I do. This is what I love. This is my identity. And we never just say, like, hi, I'm Michaela, and like get to know me through knowing me and hanging out with me and talking with me and figuring out my interests and all the things. Like, I think we all have that. And we all have that in like the back of our heads that we actually have to be doing something to be of value, or we have to be doing something to be of importance. And I realize that I find myself like not wanting to introduce myself that way or being introduced that way, unless obviously it's like for a work thing. But when it comes to my day to day life, do I have to be known for the ambitious part of me, the work part of me, or can I just be known for Michaela, who loves Jesus and who likes to be cozy and who likes reading books and going on walks? Like, do I have to be the entrepreneur business side of things? Even when I watch TV shows, like if it's a reality TV show, the first thing that they say is, hi, my name is so and so, and this is the job that I work at. Or, hi, my name is so and so, and I do this. It's always like about their job and what they're doing instead of just who they are and like who they want to be and their interests and their hobbies. So I want to kind of like help us get out of that today and kind of figure out who we are outside of the creator side of us or the entrepreneur or ambitious side of us. So I want you to put yourself in a scenario to figure out if you have this brain that's like always on for work purposes or for creator purposes or whatever you do. Just like, do you always have this on brain? And the way that I would figure this out is when you're in your downtime. So say like I'm reading a book and this is perfect. I just got back from Florida not that long ago, and I was flying and I was reading my book and I was by the window and the sun was coming into the window so nice, and it just like hit my Kindle in the perfect light. It looked so aesthetic, so cozy, and like, you're just like thinking about, I love traveling. This is like the whole point of traveling because you just want to do cozy stuff on the plane. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But anyways, when I was sitting there, I was like, do I take a picture of this? And then even when we were like in the sky, I was like, do I take a picture of the sky? And it was like not like it wasn't a let me take a picture of the sky because I want this for a memory or because it looks a certain way. It was let me take a picture of the sky because I want something aesthetic to post on Instagram. And like the whole time, like I was on vacation, I was like, I want to get these aesthetic shots of me at the beach and like me going to a certain store, me going to this aesthetic store, this plant store, this coffee shop, all these things. And like I took my digital camera, like I wanted to take all these aesthetic pictures that looked a certain way with that camera on vacation. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is going to be my like vacation dump. And it was not I want to have this for memories, but I want to have it to post on social media. And again, that's just me because that's my job, like to be a creator. So I'm not like faulting myself for that. But at the same time, like when I'm on vacation, can it just be a vacation or does it have to be a highlight reel to post on Instagram? Does it have to be part of my job when I go on vacation? And I want to be completely honest, because there's even cozy moments that I have at home. Like, it's not just when I'm on vacation, but it's like when I just need a break from being in here, recording all the screens, all the technology, and I just want to go read, or I just want to go like watch my TV show without any distractions, like whatever it is. And I like set my phone down or my Kindle down on the chair, and the sun's coming in and hitting it just right, or like it's a nice day outside, so I want to show that I'm sitting outside reading on my back patio. Like, when my cozy moments become workified, then it's no longer cozy and it's work. And you can find yourself being in that work mode literally all day. And that's why I said that ambition can, or I've said in the past, that ambition can definitely like disguise itself a lot of times with hustle. Or maybe the other way around, like hustle can really disguise itself as ambition. Yes, you have ambition. Yes, you can be ambitious and still be cozy. But when it becomes like you literally can't turn your brain off from it, or you can't step away from it without being like, I need to get back to it, or as soon as I get home, I'm gonna get back to it. If you can't do that, then you have crossed the line from ambition to hustle, and there needs to be some reevaluation. So, of course, I'm gonna help you today. Don't worry. I really want to kind of just like nip this in the butt and say that work life should not have a blend. There has to be a work life balance, meaning that there is a work life, like a hard line. And to be honest, I really do blame public schools for this. I'm not even gonna lie to you. With any school, anytime that you had to go home and do homework, like studying is one thing, homework is a whole nother thing. I think that's where it really starts, because we were taught to go to a certain place for 6, 7, 8 hours a day and learn and do work and, be ambitious, for lack of better words, and then come home to every single one of those classes that you're in having homework. And now you're doing work at home. So your 8-hour day now turned into a 10, 11, 12-hour day, depending on how long it took you to do that homework and study and do it all. And then you go to sleep and you do it the next day, with only having Saturday and Sunday to rest. And if your teachers really were like that, then sometimes you had work over the weekend. So we were in this constant cycle of being taught that, yes, you can take work home, and that there's this blend and you have to figure out the blend. But I'm telling you right now, there should be no blend. It should be when I come home from work, or when I step out of my office, when I say that there's no more work, there's no more work. And I get to do what I want to do. So I'm going to bring a little science back to you, because I love the psychology behind this. I think that it just helps us to know, like, it's not just a lifestyle choice that like I'm choosing to do. Yes, I am choosing to be in this cozy, slow living, making sure my mental health is good lifestyle, but it honestly is good for your mental health. And when your mental health is good, your physical health can be better and you can thrive all around. So, with this role, you have these roles, and then you have like this identity fatigue, and you start to try to identify with your job, with all of the roles that you have. So like, let's just start from here. Okay. So psychologically, we all have different roles, whether you are a wife, a podcaster, a business owner, a mom, a daughter, a athlete, an artist, whatever. You have these roles. Everybody has these roles, and more times than not, you have more than one. When you then begin to like blend these roles, you get into this like identity fatigue, which is like so crazy. And guys, to be completely honest, I just don't know how I would do life without Jesus, because like there are so many things that we can try to identify with, and like our identity just needs to be in him. Like, that's all I have to say about that. But I want you to kind of think about it like this. Like, so I'm a podcaster and I am married. So if I bring the podcaster person to dinner with my husband, I'm no longer my husband's wife. I'm just the podcaster that's eating dinner with him. And then I stay in this almost performance mode. I'm not performing like even on my podcast, like I'm just talking the way that I would talk, but it becomes more about what's on my podcast than like about what husband and wife talk about, what best friends talk about. It's just, here's now podcaster Michaela sitting at the table with Denzel instead of Michaela sitting at the table with Denzel. Does that make sense? So you're essentially keeping those like tabs open in your head all day long instead of shutting them down and saying, okay, Michaela, the podcaster, was left in that little closet she turned into a podcast studio. Now Michaela is sitting at the table. Just Michaela. Let's use the fact that you may be an engineer for your job. Okay. I want to pull something completely out of the box because sometimes I think that we can get like caught up in the creator and the artist and the person who is like creatively using their brain all day long. But there's some people that also love the like science and the ins and outs of technology. I don't know why I picked engineer because I really don't know what they do, but you know, all of that stuff. Okay. There's people that love that type of stuff. So say you come home and from that job and you're talking to your son or your daughter or your friend, and you're just talking all these terms that you've been talking about all day long. And they're like, excuse me, I have no idea what you're talking about. I feel like I can't connect with you because I don't know, like you're talking this language that I don't understand. And you are being engineer you and not you. Like, I think that's kind of the point I'm trying to get across is that we put this name in front of our name instead of it just being our name, just being who we are. But you start to observe life through the lens of that. And it starts to become, as a creator, it starts to become marketing instead of just enjoying my cozy moment. Because yes, we have cozy creators and I love them and I love looking at their content. It makes social media so much softer, so much nicer, such a more cozy place to be than when you have creators that are like, hey guys, welcome back to my channel, da da da, so hit subscribe, da da da, and they're just like, you know, spitting out every CTA they can think of, call to action for those of you who are not social media savvy. They're just throwing that out. So for me, personally, I know that as a creator, there are times where you stage things or you're recording moments, but you should have moments outside of the job as well. If you are a cozy creator, your life should actually just be cozy outside of it. So when the lighting's not perfect and it's nighttime and you are like, you hear your dishwasher in the background and you have people talking outside of your house because it's warm outside. So now you can hear people outside or whatever. And it's not this silent day where you have your cozy moment or your cozy music on the background, but you have this cozy moment. It should just be yours. You should just have your own cozy moment and not everybody's. It does not have to be for everybody. It should be for you. So one more sciencey tip for you, because I think that this is like so interesting and something that I think that we should like take into consideration just in everything in life. But it says that there's like this concept in psychology called context switching. And it shows that like it takes your brain an average of like 23-ish minutes to actually refocus on what it was doing before it got distracted. So, for instance, if I'm reading a book and my phone buzzes and I look at it, respond, maybe scroll a little bit, and then I try to go back to my book, it takes me it takes an average of 23 minutes to actually refocus back onto that book. So I am like a huge advocate for setting your phone away when you're doing a hobby or doing something that takes your focus, especially like reading your Bible or praying or journaling or doing something that requires your attention, not to it to be on your phone, not to have it next to you. You should have it away so that way you're not distracted. And your phone's not the only thing that distracts you. It could be another person, it could be a noise that you heard, whatever. But if you can like eliminate your distractions, you would stay more focused. And I think that's also sometimes why if you're on your computer and you have a bunch of tabs open, you're just kind of like, I can't really focus on what I'm doing because you're seeing everything, and you could get a notification on the corner. You start to like get a text, you get a phone call, and it all shows up on your computer. At least it does on mine. So I have to put my phone in do not disturb more times than not. And I think I'm actually going to start trying to on iPhone. I don't know anything about like Samsung or anything, but I know on iPhone that there is a do not disturb button, but you can actually change them. So like I have a sleep mode to where I get absolutely no notifications unless it's my mom or my husband, because I know if they're texting me late at night, it's most likely important. So I make sure to have that on when I go to sleep. And I have one for church. So I will basically turn off all my notifications except for my group that I use for the media team, or my some I like help in the nursery too. So I'll have like notifications on for that, but I also want to do one for the day when I'm working to where it's like I get no notifications. Obviously, like maybe having like emergency notifications or whatever. Like I really want to go through and like make certain settings for certain points of the day so I'm not getting all the notifications all day long. That's so annoying. But anyways, so I just wanted to share that with you because I thought that was very interesting. And like I think that if you are somebody who gets distracted easily, like just having that kind of like in the back of your mind, obviously don't fixate on it, because then you're going to get distracted and be like, "Oh my gosh, has it been 23 minutes? Like am I focusing all the way?" Like it's just a stat, and it's just a fact, and or it's just something to think about. Okay. It's just something to think about. So, of course, I am not going to leave you hanging alone. I'm going to give you a plan of action so that way you are able to have more focus, and you're able to have like these cutoffs from who you are when you're working and who you are when you're off. You will have a work-life balance with clear lines, clear boundaries, all the things. I want to make sure that you have all of that. Okay. So, number one, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to pick I want to say like cozy, let's call it a pillar. Okay. You're going to pick a cozy pillar, and this is the time where you are not on your phone at all. So, I have a couple of pillars that I would say that I'm like not on my phone for, and that would be my morning time, like reading my Bible, praying, all the things. Then another one would be like if I'm reading, and then another one would actually be if I'm watching a TV show. I think that having a TV show on and scrolling through social media is the most overstimulating thing you can do to yourself. So I think that those three would be my pillars of like, I'm not on the phone when I'm reading, I'm not on the phone when I'm trying to pray, I'm not on the phone when I'm watching TV. In like if I'm wanting to like check the updates on the TV show or like see people talking about the TV show, I'll go on after I've watched it and not during. Then I have this thing like that I'm calling like a door frame reset. So I have an office. It's small. It's like if you were to think of like a tiny house, that's like what my office is. Like I have a tiny house office and I love it. I absolutely love it. But because there is a door and I can walk out the door, I then have this like mental like note that when I walk out the door, I'm like off duty. Like no more work. I'm not working anymore. I'm not doing anything for work anymore. I'm off duty. And especially when the light goes off and the computer goes off, it's like, nope, it's shut down for the day. And it feels so good like coming in the morning. Like I open the door, I usually have like my cup of coffee, which I still have right here from this morning. There's a little bit left. But I just come in with my coffee, I turn my light on, I like wake up my computer, and it's like a nice reset for the morning to like get back into focus, where when I leave, it's like to get out of that like work focus, and now I get to just be present with my family and my hobbies and my home, and not work minded. So the next one is kind of having like a, how do I want to say, like a brain dump or like a parking lot or like somewhere where you would like pause and like write down something down so that way you can focus. I know as a creator and as a podcaster, as a business owner, it's constant wheels turning, constantly wanting to talk about it, get it out, go on ChatGPT and like talk it out, talk to my husband who's helping me with my business. Like I am constantly having ideas and like what I should do next. As much as I love that, I don't love it when it's in the middle of me watching a TV show with my husband, or in the middle of me reading my book, or in the middle of me at the nail salon, just trying to have me time. I don't like that. So what I do is I have a note in my phone. It's just the easiest because even though I'm not trying to be on my phone all the time, having my phone like on, I usually have my phone on my person, and you can like you can put a widget on your screen that just like links you right to that so you're not like scrolling around whatever. But I have a note on my phone that's called like business brain dump, and I think I have another one for content brain dump. So this is where if I get an idea for my business that I want to talk to my husband about or like talk it through with ChatGPT about, I will put it in my note, and the next time that I have time to talk to my husband or I have time to get on ChatGPT, I will. So that way it's not just like, oh, I have to do it right here in this moment because I know I will forget. It's in my phone, it's in a safe space, and I can check it the next time I am at work. But this way it kind of like stops the thought. So you like write it down and then you're just like, okay, I wrote it down. I have it. I don't have to try to remember it, or I don't have to try to do it right now. So now I can keep going back to what I'm doing. If I'm at the nail salon and I have a thought, I just type it in my phone real quick and then I'm done with it. I went to the nail salon last week and I brought my book. It was the best time. And I did an early appointment. I went at 9 a.m. I think they opened at 9. So there's like nobody in there. It was just me and my nail tech, and she was not talkative, which I do not mind. Like I'm somebody who's like, if I'm going to get my nails done, like don't talk to me because I'm usually there to like get away and just kind of like relax. But anyways, so yeah, I would just have a note or a notebook or something that's near you where you can write your ideas down to where you can come back to them later. And then I would think of like, this is mostly for my like creator and artist friends and, you know, people that like do things, film their lives. This is mostly for you, but have a like, I am strictly Michaela. I'm strictly this person. I'm strictly human ideas and like things that you do that have nothing to do with your content. I'm a part of a group that talks about social media. It's a bunch of creators who are wanting to make social media like their full-time job. So it's just a nice like group chat. But on that like group chat, somebody was asking like, how do I know what to keep private and what to basically share as a content creator? Because there are a lot of people that go so far. I was listening to the radio the other day, which is, you know, I'm going back to analog living. Okay. I was like scanning for music on the radio, which was crazy, but I got stopped because I heard like a radio show, which is so crazy because radio shows are like podcasts. It's like so crazy. But the guy was talking about like, yeah, I'm a public figure in this area because I come on this radio show every single day and I talk and people know who I am. So there's no way that I would never want to take who I'm dating or like people in my life and put their information out there, because on the radio show, the girl he was talking to, I guess it was like a girl and a guy. The girl he was talking to is a content creator, and she basically just shares every single detail of the person she's dating, their life. So she like went to this guy's house, filmed him sleeping without him even knowing that he was there. Creepy, by the way. And all these like things where it was like just going way too far. And there has to be a balance of like you knowing what is okay to share and what you should keep private and what you should post. I'm in this group of content creators who are trying to make content their full-time job, or just like be a better content creator and have like more structure and all the things. That sparked me remembering that radio show because we were talking about how like there's some people that just don't know the balance between like what to keep to themselves and what to post. And I think that it is definitely different for everybody. There are more people that are more open with their life online. And then there's more people like me. I feel like most creators are actually like me, who I actually want to kind of keep my life kind of private. I realize that being on the internet for all to see is a huge thing. And the more that you put yourself out there, the more um not even like ridicule you'll get, but I just think that is a little much. I think that when you put your whole life out like that, there's nothing that is yours. There's nothing that you can do for yourself. And for anybody who follows Monet McMichael, I don't follow her that much, but I have been watching some of her YouTube videos, and she's like, her job is social media, and she's one of those lifestyle creators that I felt like just shared kind of every milestone of her life and shared everything of her life. But then when I go back and think about certain things, there were certain things and that I remember seeing where she was keeping them private, or she's like, I don't really want to be on social media as much as I am right now. And she's like finding the balance of being by herself and creating content and still finding joy in creating content without it being overwhelming or overstimulating. So I don't know. I feel like I would just look that up a little bit more. But my whole point in all of this, if it even made sense, because I feel like I was all over the place, my whole point in saying this is that there should be something for you to be able to enjoy without the rest of the world watching. There should be things that you want to do without the rest of the world watching. And it can be hard. It can be a little bit like, oh, this would be great content. But once you get into this rhythm of like, you know what kind of content you post, you know what you're good at. One of the things I say a lot is that I love podcasting. It's like the one thing that I feel like I'm the most consistent in, and that I consistently want to grow and get better in, where my short form content, I'm just kind of like meh about. And even YouTube, like I'm like, I love YouTube. I really do. Like I love being on it. But I'm like, even with that, the things that I would talk about on YouTube, I would literally just talk about on the podcast. So I could just make more podcast episodes. Like that's where my mind goes. And then even having like different interests, like I am really into sports. Look at my shirt. I actually got this from Five Below. But like I'm into sports, so I'm like, ooh, maybe I should start a sports podcast and like just talk about sports. Like there's things like that where I love those types of things, and I can figure out what those types of things are that I love. But at the same time, I have to be careful, because just because I love sports doesn't mean I need to make it a career. So if I start a sports podcast, it would be purely because I love talking about them and I just want to talk about them with more people. It wouldn't be like, oh, now I need to go study the sport, find every single rule, figure out all the things. Like it would just be fun. It would just be fun and light. So make sure that you have things that are just for you. Make sure that you can have boundaries with your work-life balance. Make sure that you know that you are more than what you do. You are more than just your job or your title. You are a person. And yeah, I think that's it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to like, share, rate, comment, subscribe on the podcast. And yeah, I always want to say share it with a friend, but I say that all within those like 5 words that just kind of roll off the tongue, you know? So with all that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, your night, your week, your evening. And until next time, bye everybody.